Hank had found the path through the maze. I'll never know how his mind works if he is able to solve these things so well. But anyway.
And the rest of the party was horrified.
Yeah. Yeah, we were on
Didn't he just throw himself against walls or something?
Yeah, he eventually went berserk and just like totally fried himself.
Yeah, but he has regeneration, so he was regenerating faster than the bulls could damage him, so he was just... It was very bad. So we reached a spot where there was a tree.
Because there was a bunch of spots down here where there was like 4 benches around it, like a tree spot, but there was no trees there.
Like you find in a mall or something.
Yeah, or like or like outside or whatever.
And so there was a thing that looked like a tree made out of stone with no leaves and stuff, just like branches. So yeah, we saw this thing that looked like a tree. It moved slightly. You know, our perception checks were good enough. We're like, oh crap, okay. Well, I mean, even if it hadn't, I mean, obviously it's weird. It's in Rip Roar's maze. It's probably going to be painful to Hank. So we see this thing. It moves slightly. So we start tossing rocks at it to see if we can get a rise out of it and find out what's going on. I remember the first rock was just sort of a little ping, you know.
I think it missed, it hit, but it didn't hit the AC, so it just didn't make it. It didn't matter.
And then Adiron tossed a rock and got a critical hit with this tossed pebble. And, you know, we have hit locations for critical hits, so John rolled a hit location. Got it in the crotch.
But it makes sense because trees have a crotch, right? The crotch of a tree.
Yeah. So an eye flew open on the thing and it went like that. It was like, you hit me in the crotch with a rock. I'm angry.
Yeah, so it looked around, there was nothing there, and it was like,
oh crap. I'm a tree.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't see that. So at this point, Aurora starts being Aurora. I think that was how it went.
Yeah.
She basically like, oh, I'm so sorry, tree. You know, that was bad of us. Would you like to, you know, talk about, whatever?
I think she mentioned like, would you like to trade riddles? And she was just being nice and diplomatic and friendly to this
tree
rock tree thing.
And so she rolls her diplomacy.
And I was like, okay, this thing is basically like, it's an animal that eats things that come by it.
Yeah.
It's theoretically could be maybe tamed, so I'll make this like a hard check for like a level 15 character. So I looked that up, and that's like DC 29 or something, right? She rolls 31. So
she's got crazy.
And she rolled really high too. So it took me a long time to figure out what to actually do. Like everyone's like, so what happens? And I'm like, I don't know yet.
You've melted my brain.
So eventually I went with like the animal motif that she basically like tamed it because it doesn't talk.
And she should have had it start purring.
So and so she like, can I approach you?
Yeah, it sort of comes to life, and I think she just decided to approach it and made another diplomacy. And and that was the point where I was like, what do I do? And so I decided it sort of came to life, and all its tendrils came out, and in a very clearly non-menacing way, it brought her forward and sort of gave her a big hug.
And so she hugs it.
She wanted to get the party safe passage through. Right, so she diplomatized it also to get the party safe passage through, which succeeded. And so it beckoned them forward with its tendrils, and everyone had already gone through and passed by this time, and she was
still hugging the tree.
No, I think it let her go, and you'd all have passed on, and then you were discussing it. It's not really that relevant. Everyone had passed the tree and was safely. Everyone safely got past the tree with no issue, and I was like, well, so much for this custom monster that I made.
And then we were like, what else can we do to be nice to it? Well, we've got a whole lot of food that we recovered from that, the preserved food, and so we offered it some food. And it opens this enormous maw with these horrible, huge dagger teeth, like a big sea lamprey thing with like that. And then John puts the picture up on the screen and it's a Roper picture, I assume.
Yeah, it's a Roper.
Yeah, I thought I recognized it. But anyway, and it's got this huge, horrible mouth like that. And Robin's like, I was hugging that. It was a wonderful reaction. It was beautiful.
Although the interesting thing is, she did say that in character, Aurora probably wouldn't mind. Aurora was like, oh, that's fine. But Robin was horrified to have been hugging that thing.
It was all Robin. It was wonderful.
But it ate the food and it was quite appreciative. And so they tamed a Roper.
Yep.
Is it stuck where it is?
I can't move.
Isn't it a horrible thing when you planned a big fancy combat with an awesome monster and then the party diplomatizes its way through?
Here, have some spears.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although taming a Roper is pretty awesome. So
yeah. So anyway, once we were past that, the maze ran out like right after that, I believe.
That was basically the exit of the maze. You had to go past that Roper.
We did have one last thing.
And it had all these cool abilities where it could grab a hold of you and it was really hard to get away.
Yeah.
So like even if you just like screw it and run past it, it can like grab you and like keep you there, and then it suctions you into its mouth for massive damage. But they never found that out.
We were nice to it instead. Ripper could learn a few things. I don't think he really talked to us after that point.
That was basically, I didn't make it right away, but eventually they made a check, and like basically from that point onward, they didn't hear anything out of Rip Roar.
Yeah.
So they don't really know why, but he stopped talking to them.
Yeah.
He didn't. The traps didn't run out, however.
Yeah. Yeah. The next thing we came to, well, we went further on. There was this big sort of open plaza thing, and I think that was when. Aderon burned to ash, was it?
Yeah, Aderon just turned to ash.
Yeah. Oh. Just boom, stepped on a trap, insta kill, ashified. What? However, Cricket and it wasn't Croesus that made it. Who was it made?
Just Cricket.
Just Cricket made the will. It failed to attack her will. Cricket is too strong-willed. Everyone else in the party is weak-willed, but Cricket, like that. She realized it was just an illusion. In fact, she didn't even see it at all. So everyone else is freaking out.
And of course, Aderon also didn't see it either.
And so Cricket and Aderon are like, what's going on?
Yeah, Aurora just starts bursting into tears. No, Aderon! And everyone is like freaking out because that was a whole new bar above what, so far Rip Roar has just been annoying, but it's like.
Now it's an insta kill. So, I tried to convince them that Aderon was right.
Right, yeah.
And they were having none of it. No, he's a pile of ash.
Yeah, it's so, you need to accept that he's gone.
so Aderon was a bow. I think
I think you had a bow, didn't you? You gave him your bow.
Yes, I gave Aderon my bow. I said, look, here, see my bow, everyone? There, and gave it to Aderon. And so they all see the bow flash to ash. Like that. And they're like, no, your bow! And then Aderon gives me the bow back.
And I think it stayed ash, didn't it? Or did it come back?
No, I think it came back.
The bow came back,
The bow came back. And then they were a little bit like, what the hell? What's going on here? Okay. And then...
so then you said, okay, Aderon, pick me up or something, right?
And so I flashed to Ash, and they're like, oh, Cricket, no! And then Aderon puts me down again.
And she doesn't come back. It's just, everyone thinks she's Ash now.
Yeah.
So now, Aderon and Cricket have turned to Ash. But
Croesus picked...
that was because Aderon picked up Croesus.
Right.
So Aderon picked up Croesus and then flashed to Ash, but then he snapped out of it.
And now the remaining two, Aurora and... was it just
Aurora and
Hank? And Hank are like, something is incinerating our party members one by one. And they go insane and then they get incinerated. We're running away. And so
and Aderon got a hold of Aurora before she could get away, so she turned to Ash. So in the end, it was just Hank on his own. Yeah. Everyone's been turned to Ash, and he just freaks out and runs away out of there.
He runs back towards the Roper.
Oh. Wait, actually, I think for some reason Croesus hadn't been turned to ash as far as Hank was concerned, because Croesus was the one who taught Hank, who basically delayed Hank long enough that Aderon could grab a hold of him and break the spell. Because he was just like, I'm out of here, I don't care, I'm leaving. Because everyone is just turning to ash one by one.
That's pretty reasonable.
So yeah, and then we found there was like a little tile on the floor that was enchanted or something.
It was all cobblestone, and one cobblestone was white.
Yeah.
But, in the end, everyone just figured it out. But it just, it was pretty, it was pretty awesome at the time.
Lots of freaking out and running around and what's going on. It's awesome.
Did they actually out of character? They know the whole time that he was alive.
Well,
almost immediately.
Yeah.
I did roll will, and then I called the people who failed into the little room and told them Aderon just turned to ash. And then I came back to the main room and said, they're going to say something that makes no sense, and you're right, it makes no sense. Like, don't assume it makes sense. Yeah. And then I just brought them back together. And very quickly, the players knew what had happened, but still,
hilarity ensues.
Yeah.
I rather enjoy that your group is respectful of those things. Right? They don't make assumptions. They don't out of character and let their out of character influence their in character and vice versa. I think that's
sometimes it's difficult to avoid, but
yeah.
So after that, we found another of Rip Roar's little tricks. There was a patch of floor that was greased. And so we walked around that, thus thwarting it.
You should mention that the area they were on ended with like a balcony. It was like a balcony with a stone railing. Well, that was where the grease was. But you can mention whatever. Yeah. Anyway, it was a balcony, and like down below, like it was like 4 meters down to like the next level, and up ahead it was all caved in. But they could see. I just mentioned it because the grease was in an area where the balcony jutted out and there was a bunch of benches there, and the grease was all in the middle of that. And then down here below they could see, like, if you went down and underneath where they are currently, there was a big huge door with like big iron doors.
Sliding metal.
Big sliding
doors,
iron doors.
Garage door thing. So so we're sort of pondering, how to go about, going down there, exploring and stuff like that. And so Hank just goes down while we're talking about it, has a look around. Right next to the big steel doors, there was this little glowing blue patch on the wall. That's like a magical arcane keyboard type thing.
Actually, it wasn't really a keyboard, it was just a blue glowing square.
It was a lock, a magic lock. And so Hank comes up and reports on what he saw. So Cricket goes down. Cricket has the highest thievery skill and a reasonably high arcana as well. And so Cricket, after the second attempt was really good. I critically succeeded. I jimmied the lock, and the doors were unlocked, and so we pushed them open ways. Pulled them open. And there's this big wide ramp that goes down into darkness. At this point, since lots of us have been doing stuff, we sort of get in a brief discussion about how the party needs leadership. And it does. We need someone who can say, okay, this is what we're doing, and have it sort of stick.
And Croesus made a very impassioned argument for the need for leadership.
Yeah, the Oblin, of course, would be the one that would put his foot down on that. I can't remember how exactly who raised the suggestion first. I think it was Croesus.
It was Croesus.
He wanted Cricket to be the leader.
Nope.
And everyone except Hank just jumped on that. They were like, yeah, that's a great idea. And Cricket was like, okay, I'm not really good at that, but if everyone wants me to be the leader, I will do as I'm told and be the leader.
Yeah, basically, Cricket kind of put up a fight at first, but eventually everyone just sort of ordered her to be the leader, so...
She's like, all right, I will be the leader. So here's what we're going to do. I will scout ahead and make sure it's safe.
Everyone went down the ramp first, just to see what was down there.
Yeah. There's a huge room. It's dark down there. But there's this huge room filled with these the metal skeletons of chairs.
Yeah, it's like they're all like
armchairs or something.
Yeah, like easy chairs, armchairs, and that stuff.
Just row after row of these things. They're not like set up like with tables and whatnot. They were just sort of warehouse full of chairs almost.
Yeah. The And the upholstery is rotted away,
and it's a huge room. Most of it is in darkness, except way at the far back we can see there looks to be a hole into the rift. So there's some flickering light and lightning and stuff going on way at the back.
And the chairs over there are all like jumbled up and supposed to be in neat rows, are all like messed up.
And there's a couple doors on the far wall as well.
And I'm pretty sure someone made a perception check and saw that like some of the chairs over there were slightly moving, and that was what caused Cricket to scout ahead.
Yeah, Cricket decided in her capacity as party leader that this was a dangerous situation we didn't know enough about. We didn't want the party to just go in there. So she said she ordered the party to stay behind, and she would go and scout ahead to make sure it was safe. And she has the highest stealth of the party, so I made sense. So I was doing really well. I was rolling awesome stealth. But John made me roll it over and over again, so eventually I had to flub it.
Well, I mean, like I said, the rules for stealth are kind of meant for in combat.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be like stealthing for a city block, so I thought, 3 stealth checks was reasonable. Basically, I did it at each door that she passed.
Yeah. So, awesome stealth check, awesome stealth check, awesome stealth check, and then getting right up to this hole with the lightning and stuff, complete flub.
Rolled the 1 on the die.
Yeah.
Knocked over a chair, created a domino effect.
Right. So the huge chair golem monster thing, all the chairs like lumped together and pulled up into this huge monster thing. Roar!
Some like electrical tendrils came from the rift and animated
them all together and it was all very dramatic. And the rest of the party back at the entrance, they're like, "Oh no, Cricket's in trouble. Let's ignore what she told us to do. And now that we've confirmed that this is a horrendously dangerous thing, which is what she was checking to make sure it wasn't, let's all go running pell-mell into danger." And Cricket is like, "No, stay! No, this is not what this is. You've got the wrong idea." So we roll for initiative, and the party wins. And so Cricket just runs away from it, uses action point, runs some more, gets quite a distance away. So it runs after her. Spends an action point, runs after. I think it spent an action point to catch up.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. It spent an action point to make the attack, actually. But it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. And so it attacked Cricket and missed. And the rest of the party is like, "It's okay, Cricket, we're coming to rescue you." And I'm like, "That's not the idea."
I'm sure it didn't miss because it did that thing that stunned you.
All right. But it didn't do any damage. That's why I forgot about that. It was just a...
I think
it did a tiny amount of damage.
Tiny amount? Okay.
It did a tiny amount of damage and then stunned you.
Yeah, I know that that when the session ended, I'd taken practically no damage. I was feeling great, but
if it stunned you, it's got you.
Because what it did was, so it was all these chairs, but then in amongst it, all these colorful discs of energy started appearing, and like a whole bunch through, and then it exploded with this magical wave of colorful energy, and as it washed over Cricket, she got stunned for a round.
But I'm sure it missed with...
It missed with something later.
The only other opportunity it had was while I was in
while you were stunned.
So I was stunned, it attacked me again and missed. And then it was my turn and I could move, and so I ran away from it again, over to... one of the doors that I had seen.
It should have got an attack of opportunity. I forgot that.
I would have taken it. Because I've got practically no damage. I'm fine. So I run to the door, and it's got one of these blue arcane lock things on it as well. But I still have my cinematic point. And so I do the Star Wars thing. I like shoot the lock as I go through. And since I made a super high, check when I undid the previous lock, I like know exactly how these things work and stuff like that. So I like run through this locked door at full speed using cinematics points. And I'm hoping, the door is small. I'm hoping it can't fit through, but I'm also hoping it'll try. And so I'm like yelling at it and taunting it and stuff like that, and then I run through the door. And I discover that through the door, I had expected that it was going to be like a little alcove room or something, and I'd be cornered in there. But that'd be fine because I would keep the thing distracted, and the rest of the party could run away, and they would live. But no, there's this corridor that runs sort of in parallel with the big room full of chairs, and all the doors seem to connect up to this corridor. It's kind of strange. I don't know what the point of it is, but food. Yeah. So I start running down this corridor to go to one of the other doors to like try and get out around. So Cricket is being awesome. Cricket is doing everything right. She has taken leadership as she was told to do. And the rest of the party comes running down into the room, and they're all like, we're going to attack it. We're going to fight this big monster thing. And Aurora is like running around looking for Cricket.
When Cricket has been shouting the whole time the Zelda party has not come.
Yeah, don't do exactly what you're doing.
It was really Hank who came, because Hank was like, no, I'm going to go take care of Cricket.
Yeah.
And Croesus was saying, we should obey Cricket's orders, but then Hank ran off and he's like, well, I can't leave Hank on his own against a chair monster. So Hank came.
And Aurora ran down looking for Cricket, and an Aderon ran down because Aurora had run down.
Chain reaction.
So everyone's now in the room fighting the horrible evil monster that I was scouting ahead to make sure wasn't there, because we didn't want to fight it if it was.
Well, I think there's a flaw with your idea of leadership, because your idea of leadership is, at the first convenient opportunity, I'm going to sacrifice myself for everybody.
Yeah?
That's what happens when you make Cricket leader.
It is what happens when you make Cricket leader, but I think it's a flaw, a deep divide in opinions on leadership. How about that?
She's not going to question their orders. They told her to be the leader. Therefore, she's going to be the leader. And the session ended just as this combat was getting going there. Cricket is like, okay, screw this. I guess I'm going to have to fight this thing now to save everyone. So she's getting ready to start doing her ranged attacks and whatever.
Well, it ended when they just got up to it. I mean, they were about 10 squares away, and of course it moved up and attacked them. And it did this attack where it was similar, where it got a whole bunch of those colorful discs, but instead of exploding, it just shot a huge blast of those colorful discs at them, and as they hit them, it zapped them. And I think it hit them all, and the attack sucked them in, so it sucked them all right next to it, and then it pounded. I think it pounded. It tried to do a massive attack on Hank, where 3 chairs like appeared above and like had colorful discs appear on them, and then smashed down on Hank, but it missed. I think that was where that ended. Yeah. So
Cricket and Aurora are still away from it though, so that's good. We're lining up since we're going to have to fight it now. We are actually in a good position for that. The melee guys are right up next to it. The ranged guys and support are well away.
Aderon did get pulled up next to it, but they did some stuff to try to make it, like he was marked and a bunch of stuff, and so Aderon was able to get away. It did violate the mark, but nothing came of it. It missed anyway.
And I'm really looking forward to next session, assuming we survive the fight, because Cricket is going to give them a piece of her mind. Because
I know those guys.
This is not how it's supposed to work. Oh, those guys.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Cricket angry, because she's just like, she's so submissive, but it's just she was given an order and then not able to carry it out.
Yeah. They're like, do you think this is a joke? That's basically her approach. She takes this whole thing very seriously, and they're treating it as a joke. You insult my people.
So to be fair, Hank always opposed Cricket as leader, and he was the one who caused the main problem.
Yeah.
But so, although he did agree to it, he was like, I think this is a bad idea, but I'll agree to it.
Yeah. And Croesus is a little annoyed too because Hank's a soldier. And soldiers are supposed to obey their superior officers, and Cricket's a superior officer now.
Well, and Hank thought he should be leader, but Croesus said, you know, you get too carried up in your rage, or, you know, a leader needs to be cool-headed and
analytic. Have an int score above 10. That sort of thing. So anyway, that was the session. It was pretty good.
I just enjoy the concept that I don't think anyone expected to go into a room full of easy chair skeletons, and then like they animate and attack you with colorful discs. You weren't expecting that, were you?
Well, kind of.
You were expecting it before you saw the room?
Well, not before the room, no.
Everyone knew that they were going to animate when there was all those ones screeching together.
Yeah. That's why I was sneaking over to confirm that. Yeah, it's a giant monster.
No, actually, one of my favorite things is I have there's actually a very cohesive, sensical plan and layout to this place. But I love the fact that there's no way that the players could possibly have a clue. Like, they just walk into this room, it's like, yeah, it's full of a bunch of, like, skeletonized chairs.
Well, with out-of-character knowledge, I think I probably know what they are all about. But in-character knowledge, I think I rolled some arcanas and stuff, and it wasn't enough to really know what's going on.
The only person who made anything was Aderon got a crappy bit of information from the history check, and then it was like she'd heard of like some ancient race using chairs that kind of looked like this, and they were called like hops or dads or bramps or something, and that was the only information she has, which of course doesn't really make any sense and is not useful.
Dear Diary, today I made a new friend. You know, it just goes to show. It's just like what I'm always telling Aderon. You can't judge a book by its cover. You just never know what someone is like until you take the time to get to know them. Everyone was worried about the tree made of stone just because he kind of freaked out when Aderon hit him in the crutch with the rock. But you know, I would be pretty frustrated if someone did that to me as an introductory. His bark was worse than his bite, that's for sure. I think we'll be friends forever.
One thing that is important to keep in mind is that not all trees are friendly. And not all trees are actually made out of wood. We met a tree, and Aurora gave it a hug. Which was strange that worked. But it worked. And she gave him some food, and he took the food. And then we walked further along, and people kept freaking out because they thought I turned dust, but I wasn't. And now we're battling chairs. A big chair monster. I hate this Chaos Rift. It doesn't make sense around here. Nothing's following the natural order of things. Chairs aren't monsters. At least not in the world that... Maybe somewhere far off they're monsters. But not here. Very strange. And Aurora has been particularly anxious after the whole Ash incident, and a little bit clingy. Oh, and Cricket's our leader. Yes! Hooray! She will grow a backbone, and it will be good for her self-esteem.
Hank says he's a soldier, but he's not. Because, see, a soldier obeys the leader, and you have to obey the leader. You have to stick by your squad, or the phalanx falls apart, and everything becomes chaos, and we have to do what Kem tells us to, because he's the leader, and he's always got a plan, and they always know where we're going. They always know where we're going. And now We're fighting chairs. Why are we fighting chairs?
So, all this while I've been trying to kind of lead the group without being too pushy. And then the topic of a leader came up. And nothing against cricket or anything, but Croesus seems to have arbitrarily decided that a servant girl should lead the party. And I don't think that's such a good idea. And apparently keeping the law, insert finger quotes here, is more important than keeping everybody safe. So now we're fighting this pile of chairs. And yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess.
Well, I don't know. On the one hand, they've finally told me what my role in all this, what my place in this group is. And that's wonderful. They've told me what my place is. I'm to be the party leader. That means that I have to coordinate and decide what we do. And that's not exactly my forte, but they told me to do it, so I'm going to do it. But then when I tried to do it, I told them I'm going to go ahead and scout. I'm going to scout ahead to make sure that they're not put in any danger. And I scouted into this huge room filled with old chairs, old metal chairs. It was very strange. I carefully snuck along to the very end, and then this huge monster made out of chairs rises up and begins rampaging. They come running down to save me. I told them I was scouting ahead. I didn't want them. This is exactly what I didn't want to have happen. Is my role not leader? I don't think they understand exactly how it's supposed to work when one person is in a position of authority over another person. It's very peculiar. If we survive this, I'm not going to have to explain to them how it all works. If we survive this, they all ran down here to rescue me. Oh, wonderful. Now I'm going to have to rescue them somehow. I tried distracting the chair monster, but they've done a very good job of drawing its attention away from me. And now I'm going to have to somehow get it chasing me again or something. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. Oh, this group, they're so frustrating. I don't know. One moment they're beating me and I've yet to find out why. The next moment they're making me their leader, and then they're not following me. So I don't know. I'll have to sort it all out.